Okay, so you have your spreadsheet of all of your random variables. So how do you create a scatter plot in Microsoft Excel? So I'm going to create a scatter plot of the height and the drop random variables. So what you can do is you can just select these two columns. So if you just click on each column, okay, you're only going to select one at a time. But if you hold down the Shift key and you hit the next column, then that allows you to select more than one column at a time. If your columns are separated, so let's say I wanted to make a scatter plot of height versus length, instead of holding the Shift key down, if I hold the Shift key down, it's going to select all three, and I don't want all three, I only want two. So you can hold down the Control key and select your second column, and now it does not select the column in between. Okay, but for me, mine are side by side. So I want to plot these. So what you do is you select the first two columns, and then you go to Insert, and then you've got a bunch of chart options here. And you'll notice the icon for this chart looks like a scatter plot. It's got a Y and an X axis with a few points. So if you left click in there, you have all of these different options. Okay, and as I hover over all these different ones, you can see how it changes the graph down below. But we want this one without connecting the dots, just the data points themselves. So if I left click that, okay, it gives me a scatter plot. Now let me show you something here. Now, here I'm plotting height versus drop. And you'll notice that these data points appear to be linearly related. Okay, the data points are forming a linear pattern here. And we've got one point kind of up here, and we've got a couple points down here below this line, this linear relationship here. And if I hover over one of these points, I don't click, I just hover, you can see it's the point 420, 400. And so that point 420, 400 is this very first one here. So since 420 comes first on this point, that means this axis is the height variable, and this one is the drop variable. So this is height versus drop. So height versus drop. But so let me keep that open. But what if I didn't want the height variable down here? What if I wanted this to be drop versus height, the other way around? So one thing you could do is maybe select the columns in reverse order. So before I selected this one first, that one second, and I inserted this chart. But notice that if I choose this one first and that one second, and I go Insert, Chart, okay, it didn't give a different chart at all. You can see we've got one point kind of up above. We have that same point here up above. We've got 2 points kind of down below, and here we've got those 2 points down below. So simply selecting these columns doesn't matter to Microsoft Excel. Instead, what matters is whichever column comes first. So if height comes first, that's going to be your horizontal axis, and whichever one comes second, that's going to be your vertical axis. Okay, so horizontal X, vertical Y. That's just the way Excel works. Now, if you wanted to plot these the other way around, what you could do is you can select the variable that you want to be your x-axis, and then hit copy, and then come over here to a blank column and hit paste. Let's see, which one of these do we want? What I would do, let's see here. Let's just paste values. That should work. Okay, and so if we wanted this to be on the x-axis, then this needs to come first. And now we'll select this one, and we'll paste those here. All right, so instead of height coming first and drop second, now drop comes first and height is second. And if I select these and then I choose Insert Chart, all right, now I get something that looks a little different. So instead of this point kind of being up above, this one point is down below. And instead of these 2 points being kind of below this line, now those 2 points are above that line. So this is drop on the horizontal and height on the vertical, whereas this one is height on the horizontal and drop on the vertical. So with mine, I want to plot it this way, but if your columns are not in the correct order, you can just copy and paste them in a different order from left to right. And that allows you to control which variable is on the horizontal axis and which one is on the vertical axis.